Hello students, shall we move to the lesson today? Today in Unit 1 Electrostatics, we are going to see the episode 5. Today, initially we are going to see about the electric field due to continuous charge distribution. You may know what is the word distribution stands for. Actually, distribution stands for the separation or transferring the charges from one place to another, or transferring the energy from one place to another. Here, this transfer of energy meets at one point, and that point is this P. Let's move to the answer. The charge is distributed continuously on the charged bodies. Okay, it is very difficult to look at individual charges in these charged bodies. It's not possible for us to look at the individual Q1, Q2, Q3, Qn. It's not possible. So let us consider the following charged object of a irregular shape, which is shown in the figure. Now the entire charged object is divided into large number of charged elements. That's why we have del q1, del q2, del q3 dash dash dash, that's up to del qn, and each charge elements del q is taken as a point charge. You understand? Right. Now the electric field at a point P, which is here, is due to the charge objects. They are approximately given by the sum of the field at P due to all such charge elements. That means the charge elements Q1, Q2, Q3 all meet at this point. Okay, so this at P they have the sum of the electric fields. That's why we put the total electric field here. Already in last class also we come across these words, charge at sum of the charge at field P. Now E total vector is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught del Q1. In last point charges we does not use the word or letter del, but here del is used here because of the collection of charges at Q. So 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 del Q1 divided by R1 square P into R1 P cap plus del Q2 divided by R2P square into R2P cap plus del Q3 divided by R3P square into R3P cap plus dash 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 till del Qn divided by Rnp square into Rnp cap. This is considered as the equation number 1. Using this long term, we cannot eliminate or we cannot get into the answers. So we eliminate or we scrutinize this long term of expressions into a summation. Okay, so in the summation we used to put 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 summation n from I equal to 1 del qi divided by rip square into r cap ip. Okay, here del qi is the ith charge element using the summation, and rip is the distance of the point from P from the ith charge element, and rip is the unit vector from the ith charge element to the point P. Now to incorporate the continuous distribution of charges, we take the limit del q to 0. That means dq. This is for your reference. We have to limit the distribution. then only we can find the value. And after that, we from the last equation 1 we get E vector is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 integral, instead of summation we use here integral because we will limit the distribution of charges, dq divided by r square into r cap. Here r is the distance of the point pre from the infinitesimal charge. That means the charge is from an infinitesimal distance to the electric field. And dq and r cap are the unit vector from dq to point. Now let's see, if a charge q is uniformly distributed along the length L. Actually we are using a long charged wire which is having an infinitesimal length. That means we don't know the starting point and the end point of the wire. We have dq is equal to lambda del L. Here del L is the length of this particular area. Okay, we cannot find the total length, so we used to find only a unit distance. Now if the charge q is uniformly distributed along the wire of length L, the linear charge density, that means the charge per unit length, this unit length is del is equal to q divided by L. That means charge divided by the length. Actually its unit is coulomb per meter, cm minus 1. The charge present in the infinitesimal length dl. That's what I am explaining you. This is the midpoint. Okay, this is the point charges P. This is the distance between, this R is the distance between the midpoint dl and P. dq is equal to lambda into dl, and now in the figure A, the electric field due to the line of total charge q is given by the value E vector is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0. Instead of dq we substitute here lambda dl, so we get 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 integral lambda dl divided by r square into r cap. The answer is, we can take the lambda out, so lambda divided by 4 pi epsilon 0 into integral of dl divided by r square into r cap. Okay, now let's move to the second part. This is for a charge which is uniformly distributed on a surface. In this electrostatic lesson we are going to see this part in a Gaussian surface later. Okay, now if the surface q, okay, is uniformly distributed on the surface area A, this is the surface area A, and the charge is uniformly distributed all along this full surface, then we have to find the surface charge density. How can you find the surface charge density? Charge per unit area, that means this area has to be divided and we have to find the charge per the unit area. For this we use sigma, which is equal to q by A, that means the charge divided by the surface area. Now the unit for this surface charge density is coulomb per square meter, cm minus 2. The charge present in the infinitesimal area, that means dA, derivative of the area, is dq is equal to sigma dA in the figure. In the figure we get the electric field due to a total charge q, which is given by E vector is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 integral sigma dA divided by r square into r cap. Here we put this sigma instead of that lambda or dq. Okay, in the former explanations we use lambda and dq, but To find the surface charge density, we have to substitute this del, and the last expression was 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 sigma integral of dA divided by r. Last and third one about this continuous charge distribution. This is the area, which irregular area, which we are going to find the continuous charge distribution in this area. Now, if the charge Q is uniformly distributed in a volume, then the volume charge density, because we don't know the right shape, so now we are going to find the volume charge density. How can you find the volume charge density? We have to find the charge per unit volume, and the expression for the charge per unit volume is equal to rho is equal to Q by volume V. That means coulomb per cubic meter, cm minus 3. The charge present in the infinitesimal volume element. Okay, we don't know the exact volume of the given picture, so we use dq is equal to rho into dv. The electric field due to a volume of total charge q is given by E vector is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 integral rho dv divided by r square into r cap. If you take the rho out, then you will put 1 by rho by 4 pi epsilon 0 into the important question, students, so take care about that. Now, electric field lines, we all come across this electric fields, is it? But what is the electric field? How can you identify the electric fields? Can anyone have a experience about this electric fields? Do you touch the electric sockets? If you touch the electric sockets, you will get the electric charge across your body. But the electric field are some different, which tells about an electric field line is an imaginary line. Okay, we cannot see that electric field by our naked eyes. The electric field line is an imaginary line or curve drawn through a region of empty space so that its tangent at any point is in the direction of the electric field vector at that point. The relative closeness of the lines at some places gives an idea about the intensity of electric field at that point. That means we can feel the electric field in particular region. The electric field lines start from positive charge and it ends at the negative charge or at an infinity. Okay, through this picture you can easily understand. This is the charge from, if it is a positive charge, the charge is move outward, but if it is a negative charge, the charges move towards the negative. Now, second important property was the electric field vector at any point in space is tangential to the electric field line. And third property, the electric field lines are denser, they are more closer in a region where the electric fields are larger magnitude and less dense in a region where the electric field is a smaller magnitude. So, if the magnitude is very less, then you will see very shorter electric field there. But if the electric lines are closer, then we can have very large electric fields. No two electric fields line intersect each other. If any two lines cross at a point, then there will be two different electric field vector at the same point. You can see in this picture they don't intersect with each other. Actually, the electric field have different properties, more than they have 5 properties, but they never intersect each other. No two electric field lines intersect each other. If two lines cross at a point, then there will be two different electric field. Okay, no one electric field, there will be two electric field vectors at that same point. Then if some charge is placed in the intersection point, if the charge is placed in the intersection point, then it has to move in two different directions at the same time, which is physically impossible. So the electric field lines never intersect each other. The last point, the number of electric field lines that emanate from the positive charge or end at a negative charge is directly proportional to the magnitude of the charges, whether it's from positive or it's from negative charge, but both are directly proportional to the. Thank you. Actually, we have first 2 lessons for this examination. Probably let me give the question bank for this examination. Be ready for the term